Hi, friend.
Welcome to Leave Me Alone. I'm working on it. Welcome to the crazy.
Welcome to the
It's not that
crazy.
bad.
Last night, um, we did karaoke, and it was just so fun to have a reason to sing Disney songs. Like,
There's never a need to sing Disney songs. You just sing them
oh,
because you
okay, I was gonna be
want
like,
to. You said it
exactly,
gave
fair.
you a reason to
It gave
sing
me a
them. There
reason.
doesn't need to be a
Yeah,
reason.
fair. It gave me a reason to belt it out as loud as I
What did you
possibly
sing?
could.
What did you
We
sing?
sang many things. I sang Frozen, let it
Ugh,
go,
I'm so
can't
over
hold
that
back
song.
anymore. Oh my gosh, how dare you?
I'm over it.
We also sang Gonna Be a Mighty King, so
Oh,
enemies
yeah.
beware.
That's a good
Um
one.
and then we sang We Don't Talk About Bruno, no, no, no.
That's a good one.
It was a lot of
Lately,
fun.
my go-to Disney soundtrack has been Moana,
Okay,
specifically two songs. If
can I
you're about to
just
tell me you didn't like it, let's not do that. The
unpopular
episode must.
opinion?
You didn't like it?
I didn't get the Moana hype.
Not the music, even?
Like nothing. I was like, what's
Wow.
happening? And I love Disney, and I it just didn't do anything for me.
Interesting.
Unpopular opinion.
I didn't watch it during the hype. To be very honest, I think I watched it last year.
I watched it also many, many, many moons after it had come out.
Mm. I've got two favorite songs on it.
Mm,
Number one is Shiny, the one the crab sings.
couldn't
Love
tell you.
it. Love it so much. And then the second one is You're Welcome. The Rock sings that one. And this one day I was coming back from, I think it was the gym. I don't know. It was like early evening or something, and I was
Yeah.
blasting Shiny in my car. Like I'd play it loud. And there was this car with these two kids in front of me, and I think they were just like confused because they'd
They were
both like
like,
gotten on the chair and would put their chin on the back of the seat and were just looking at me like,
cute.
why is this adult person playing this song? And I had it on repeat.
Cute.
So the entire time, it's just, yeah, that's my go-to right now. It's sad that you don't love it, but
I don't know. I think I maybe need to. I only watched it once to the point I can't even remember what the story was. I think at some point there was a mountain and the mountain was mad and then became happy. I can't remember. I think I will watch it again. I will give it
an
another chance.
absolute oversimplification of what was happening, but sure,
Like
the
I said,
mountain was mad.
I don't remember. But then the mountain got happy. She was quite happy at the end. I don't remember. I will go watch Moana again. I will go watch it again, and hopefully it'll have
This
a
is
different
the
impact.
problem when you are in your 30s and you have nothing better to do on Friday night because the club is not a place you want to be anymore.
No, I
You
please,
know?
I can't. I
Um,
hate the club. Man, I hate the club.
now we're watching Moana and the mountain was angry. Anyway, but it's funny because when we were younger, we
Mm,
we well, much younger, like when we were kids, we were well, I don't know about you, but I was aspiring to be a grown up so bad. Like I wanted to be grown so bad because for
yeah,
me, being grown just meant freedom. It
yeah,
meant being able to do whatever I wanted
yeah,
when I wanted to.
yeah,
It
yeah,
meant, again, it meant buying into the lies that the media had sold us. It meant having a
yeah,
fantastic job
yeah,
downtown somewhere in this
yeah.
gorgeous high rise, going
With
to
you.
work in the heels and the fancy clothes and going to the
Thank
club
you, Sarah
every
Jessica Parker. Thank you, Sex in the City. Yes,
every
yes.
single night, it's like going for drinks and so you're waiting to get to that point. But the truth of the matter is, even if you do eventually have that kind of lifestyle, because not everyone's going to have that, but let's even assume you get a job in, I don't know, publishing, advertising, PR, and you do work in the nice building and you wear the nice clothes and all. It's like a really short window, isn't it? Because when you're in uni, obviously you're in uni, fine, you can party and whatever, but you're probably broke. So you're not partying
Fair.
at like
Yeah.
that level. And then
Yeah.
you get into your early 20s and you've got a little bit more money. So you can sort of party better. You can go out. You can sort of maybe wear some nice things.
Mm.
But then by the time you're hitting, and this is like your mid to late 20s, I feel like that's the window right there. Because by the time you hit your 30s, you are like, you're over it. You're just like, 9 o'clock is bedtime. You can't drink the way you used to drink anymore. You have 2 glasses of wine, cue the hangovers.
Yeah.
So like I feel like you've got this really short window for you to be like young and fun, or at least that's how it looks.
Correct.
Because then you go from that into being like a fully responsible adult. You've got a job, now you've been promoted, now you're a manager, you maybe got married, or you bought a house and now you're dealing with a mortgage, or maybe now you've got kids. And it feels like the fun, young, adventurous portion of your life is done. It's
Yeah.
over. Either that's the way it's going for you, or the other way it's going for you is you feel like, yes, the young, fun part is over, but you are stuck in the phase in between that, because according to society, you're a certain age and you should be married. You should have had the kids. And now you're under so much pressure to like make it make sense because that's how it's supposed to look. Again, we've bought into this idea of what a successful, happy life looks like.
Correct. Yeah.
And so I was on social media randomly because I'm not really there these days. And this should I call it a hiatus or should I call it a what's that one you get? Sabbatical. That one.
Sabbatical.
I
You're on a
think I'm
social
on
media
sabbatical.
Got it.
Anyway, so I saw this video from hang on. Is it Gabrielle Union or Gabrielle Union?
It's Gabrielle Union.
Okay, Gab. Right. Got it. I'm just checking. Just checking.
Okay.
She did this video and I just stumbled on it and I watched it and I was like, yeah, like it resonated. Anyway, I'll read to you it was a reel, but I'll read what she said in it.
Okay.
So she was like, to my girlies in their 30s, time isn't running out. It's not.
Amen.
If you look at
Aw.
social media, oh my God, you're running out of time. It's not. Other people will make you feel like you're running out of time because they want everyone to do what they're doing so that they feel better about their life choices. There's no race. Like there's no checkered flag at the end of life where they're like, she did it all. Your 30s, travel, even if it's just the other side of town or a local park. Tell people how you really feel. Don't lie to your therapist. And be okay to not be okay. And be okay with missing out because staying in is more fun.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I really like that. There's something really I think we've said this before on I think in the early days of the first few episodes where it was like if you need someone to give you permission to, let us be that person. And it
yeah,
feels like what she's doing in this moment is she's giving us permission to like relax and not feel like we have to be committed to the societal race that nobody actually has started except us,
yeah.
And I there's something very like even as you read that, like I felt a little bit of the weight lift off my shoulder because I was
Right.
like, yeah, you're right. Like this isn't a race. There
It's not a
isn't a
race.
right way to do anything or achieve anything.
Time
Yeah.
isn't running out. And it's because it's true for a lot of us in our 30s. Because I remember being in my early 20s, like maybe 21 in uni. And my pastor then saying to us, like, he was preaching, and one of the things he was saying was about how you've got to look out for yourself and be healthier, especially as you grow older. And he was saying like once you hit your 30s, like you can't be eating meat and carbs the way you're doing it now. You can't be eating fast
Mm,
food the way you're doing it now. Like
mm,
you need
mm,
to
mm,
watch it and you need to slow down. So
mm.
again, and like you said, we've said this before, but 30 was that thing where you've got to live
Yeah.
all of the life you
Of
need
your
to
life
live.
must be
You need to
lived by the
live it before
time
you're 30.
correct.
Because
And
once you're 30, you're basically just preparing to die. That's how they
this
made
is
it seem.
this is so true. And I remember for me, the turning 30, I remember being really upset. Not because I turned 30, because
Mm,
for me, it's inevitable. Why get upset about it? It's a waste of your time
mm,
being upset about turning
mm,
30, right? So
mm.
I wasn't upset that I turned 30. I was upset that we had been in COVID lockdown for the last 2 years of my 20s.
Yeah.
And I felt robbed. I felt robbed of this time. And I'm like, my for 28, the years 28 and 29, the world was going through this crisis. I couldn't travel. I couldn't go
Yeah.
out. I couldn't meet new
Yeah.
people. I couldn't
Yeah.
try new things. I felt robbed. By
Yeah.
the time I was like, no, somebody needs to give me the last 2 years of my 20s back. This is
Girl,
not
same.
fair,
Yeah.
you know? But in truth, like, that's not true. Nothing's stopping me now just because I'm over the 30 line from
Exactly.
traveling, from meeting people, from going outside, from trying new things. Nothing is stopping me from doing that.
Nothing is stopping you. The actual truth is that in your 30s, you probably have a bit more money. You're probably more
Factual.
comfortable.
Factual.
So it means that you can
I'm
actually
actually more
afford,
capable
you're
of
more
doing the things I
capable.
wanted to do in my last
There's
years of my
nothing
20s.
stopping you. Yeah. Like the things you wanted to do
That's
then,
very
you can
true.
probably afford them a bit better now without bending over backwards. But
That's
this
very true.
idea that time is running out for you,
Mm,
especially if you're a woman, time is running out for you to have to get married, to have babies,
mm,
to time is running out for you to start your business, or time is running out for you to get into the industry if you're trying to get into entertainment, or time is running out for you to be
mm,
an influencer, whatever. Like the idea that time is running out,
mm.
it's not.
It's going nowhere.
It's just not. Like
Mm.
I understand. Okay. So there's two things I want to talk about. Number one is time is running out. Number two is don't lie to your therapist, which is probably what I will call this episode.
That's
Because
so
they're-
funny.
these are
Don't
two
lie to
things.
your therapist. What a counterintuitive action. Like,
I
like truly,
know.
you're paying this person to help you process your life, and then you lie to them. Why?
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 Why would you do that? What are you
Why? Why would you
protecting
do
in this
that?
moment? Um,
Oh, it's
the
so
first thing
funny.
there is the time is running out bit, because if we do a little bit of biology lesson, right?
Mm,
We understand that at a certain time it gets a little bit harder. Well, that's what we've been told. It gets,
yeah.
and the science backs it up. But
Yeah.
when my sisters had her second kid, and one of the books, one of the things that you know or you hear about pregnancy is What to Expect. Like it's
Mm,
like the holy grail of like pregnancy. Everybody who's
mm.
pregnant reads that book, gets that app, knows all of the
What
things
to
from that thing.
expect when you're expecting.
That
Even those
one.
of us who are not pregnant, never been pregnant, we all know about
We
that
all
book.
know it. We
All
all
of us.
know it. Everyone that
Yeah.
like in my circle that has had a kid, like they'll tell you that they've read that book or been recommended that book or whatever. And
Yeah.
then I saw there's another book that kind of is like a, if it were rap music, it would be like a diss track. I love a diss track. It's not the
Lol.
most Christian thing of me, but I love me a diss track. Woo, love it. And it's called, I think it's called Expecting Better, which is
Oh.
why I'm like, exactly, because what to expect when you're
Oh.
expecting, and hers is called Expecting Better. And I'm like, oh snap.
Interesting.
This is a diss track, but a literary one. So
Hector.
the summary, because I think I saw it on Amazon. The blurb basically says that there's a lot of things that, a lot of wisdom that has gone out about pregnancy and that kind of thing that isn't really true anymore or hasn't been
Mm.
questioned. And one of the things that
Mm.
she in the book was going to question is this idea that once you're 30, it's too late for it's too late. No, 35, because the science says at 35 it's too late for
Mm.
you to get pregnant. And
Mm.
so
All
she
the
wanted
science basically says like at 35, it's your like I read because I read a little bit about this as well because in truth, open honest moment, I'm thinking about freezing my eggs. So I was
really?
like,
Oh
yeah,
my
I am.
God.
I am thinking
Okay.
about it because this whole thing about time is a
Time,
big
yeah.
thing, and for
Yeah.
me it's kind of breaking down this reality. Sorry, I've completely taken over your
No,
point here,
no.
but like it's breaking down for me the that yes, there is time,
Mhm.
but I also want to be realistic
Mhm.
about that as well, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And so, what the science has said, what I've read, is that by the time you hit 35, you lose
Mhm.
80%, your 80% of your viable eggs
Yeah.
are gone,
It
you
yeah.
know? And that you read stats like that, and it's very scary, you know? Like, it's very like, oh no. And it's like, do
Yeah.
I really even understand what that means? Like, is that true? I've read other things that are contradictory to that, which is what I think you're about to talk to now.
Yeah,
But
she's basically saying, well, in her research, what she was basically saying, because I mean, I'm also on this journey, right? Like
mm,
I'm also, because I do want to have kids. Like it's a
mm,
thing, and it's a
mm,
process. And she was basically saying that, now I don't remember the numbers. I'm not great with numbers. But what
mhm,
she was saying is that the numbers show that the difference between when you are 35 and when you are 40, the
mm.
difference in how much of a decline there is, not much. Like it's almost the same thing. That even the
Oh
difference between
wow.
40 and 45, it dips a little bit more, but like it really, really gets hectic from 45. Like there was a study sample of women across these ages. So like you're
Mm,
most viable when you are younger, but
of
like
course.
between I think she was saying between, like, again, I don't remember the numbers. I'll go look for this thing online and see if I can find it. But like between, I think she said between 25 and 30 something, but just before 35, it's not that much of a difference. And hitting
Mm.
35 is not the
End of
is
the road.
it's not the end of the road. But
Mm,
like a lot of women have heard this 35 thing, like what you're saying
mm,
now, and
mm,
it's
mm,
become law. And so
mm.
you hit 30 and you hear people saying my biological clock is ticking because I've literally got
Correct.
5 years to make it happen.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
beyond that, it's not sure for me anymore.
yeah,
And she was
yeah.
just like, she's not saying it's not happening, but not as drastically as they want you to believe. Like 35 is not this hard stop,
Got it.
she was saying. So,
Mm,
is time running out if you want to have kids? It's something to think about for sure.
mm, mm,
But the argument there, I think, is that there's other ways to have kids. And this is something I saw in the comment section. You also
mm.
know that the comments are toxic, but I love to go into the comment section anyway. So on Gabrielle Union's reel, this video, there were
Yeah.
two things. First of all, the first person was like, she's in her 50s and she's wealthy. She can't be giving us this kind of advice because she doesn't, like, she's out of touch with reality. And I'm just like,
Oh,
well,
mm,
not really, because what she
oh,
said is pretty on
it's
point
pretty, yeah, and will be true for
for
anyone
most,
across any
right?
bracket of wealth or whatever.
But then the second person to respond to that first comment was saying, yes, it's true because she's wealthy enough to afford IVF. Not all of us can
Mm,
afford that. So
mm,
we need
mm.
to be like, for those of us who can't afford it, we need, the biology is our, like, that's the thing.
That's
This
all we've
time is
got.
That's all we've got. So the time is running out for us. And I
Yeah.
suppose, like, if you're gonna go the traditional way of having children, then yes, maybe it is a little bit more pressure. Like you don't want to, I don't know, get a surrogate, you don't want to adopt, and you're not gonna do IVF. Maybe. But my question is, so what?
Mm,
If you don't birth a baby in your lifetime, does it diminish your worth as a woman, as a person? Does it make you less
mm.
valuable? And I'm not saying you shouldn't aspire to or want to, but I'm saying
Yeah.
maybe food for thought. Are you
Yeah.
wanting a baby because you want a baby? Or are you
Yeah.
wanting one because you've been told that that's going to make you whole?
Yeah. Look, I think that that's a really important question. It's a question that I've asked myself, right? Like I'm in a position now where I'm 33 years old. I'm single. Like, there's no prospects of a person, like there is nothing. And I'm like 2 years away from this 35 number, and
Mm.
I'm not even close to having a child. Um, and and that definitely has put pressure on me. I feel the pressure of the clock. But
Yeah.
the other side of that coin is I'm also in this boat where I've not fully landed on if I want kids because I want kids, or if I
Mm.
want kids because society has said,
'Cause it's part
women
of the
should get married and
package.
have children.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I definitely oscillate very strongly back and forth. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Um and I think for me, going on the journey of then being like, maybe I should freeze my eggs, is really just about keeping my options open
Open,
for
yeah.
if I do come to a point where, like, heaven forbid, Lord Jesus, please send me a husband. But like, heaven forbid, I don't meet someone, but I still want to
Yeah,
have a kid and I still want to do
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
I don't want that option taken away from me because I was waiting for my person.
Mm, mm.
Um, and I suppose that's the gift of modern medicine. There it is,
Yeah.
gifting us once again. But to the person in the comments point is the cost of me doing this is gonna cost me something like it's gonna cost me like something like $6,000-7,000
Sure,
to
you've done
to
the
do it.
research on this thing.
No,
You're
I've
serious.
I've I've even narrowed down like 3 doctors to do it. Like, there is a
What?
whole
How am
yeah,
I just
there's a whole
hearing
thing.
this?
Because I probably won't do it for like another year and a half, if I'm very honest. Um, um, and then the Lord must come through. Then I'll know. But yes, it's gonna cost me $6,000-7,000. Not everybody
That's a lot
has
of money.
It's a lot of money. Not
That's a
everybody
lot of
has
money.
six, seven thousand
Yeah.
dollars
Mhm.
to go and freeze their eggs,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
cost of IVF, which is I haven't done that research, but that from what I understand, that's very, very expensive.
It
And
is
it's like a
expensive.
one-shot thing. Like, you spend X amount of money, many, many thousands. You've got
It
one
works or
shot.
it doesn't, yeah,
It works
and
or
then
it
you
doesn't. And
start
then you have to
again.
try it again and spend all
Yep,
that money again
yep,
next month.
yep.
So
Mm.
so there is an element of privilege that does need to be considered
Yes.
in this as well. But this is my long way of saying is, like, I definitely relate to what you're saying, because this is everything that's playing through my mind
Mm,
right now
mm,
for my life, where I'm like, is this a
mm,
choice that I need to make? How do I make it? I'm stressed out about the clock, but I must also relax and not think about it. But I am thinking about it, and I want to get married and I want to meet a person, but I haven't done that yet.
mm.
Is there something wrong with me? Should I quit? Should I stop looking? Should I just focus on being myself? And then I'm like, if
Yeah,
I do have children, it's literally this stream of running consciousness in my mind, because it's like, then
yeah.
if I do have children, that means that I'm going to sacrifice this and this. Like, the other day, oh, this is so dramatic, but the other day I literally looked up school fees at my school to be like, how much would it
Mm,
cost to send my child to school, and if I were to have a child today, could I afford a child you know
mm.
and the truth is, I got to a point after all the calculations. I was like, oh wow, I actually could afford to have a baby. And that was very like, I was like, hmm, because
Should
previously
I just do it?
previously the thought has been like, oh, like, I can't have a
I
child, like,
can't. Mm,
I can't afford it, like, I'll have
mm,
to sacrifice so much of my life and so much of what
mm,
I'm doing. But like,
mm,
as I've progressed at work and gotten promoted and started a new job, which
mm.
has paid me more money, blah, 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 I find myself in a position where it's like, actually, this is no longer a viable excuse. And then and I'm like, okay, so could I have a child? Could I have a baby? Do I want a baby? So I'm, as you can tell by my run of consciousness here, I'm confused. But I relate a lot
It's
to
a good
what
question to be
people are saying.
asking,
Mm.
like, why do you want one? And because if you're going to bend over backwards to ensure that you can have a child, if you're going to hustle because 35 is lurking.
Mm,
You know, you
mm,
need to know why you're doing this. Like, why are you going on
mm,
this journey? Because if you
mm,
just, and I know people say, oh, it's the best experience you'll ever have. It's
mm.
the,
So
it's the,
rewarding. It's
yeah,
so
and all of
all of the
that.
things.
I don't think it necessarily means that if you don't have that experience, then you've missed out
Your
on
life
life.
is any less. Yes, that's true.
Yeah. And
I
I
do
saw
want to also acknowledge that the desire for a child is it goes also beyond society. Yes, it's about asking why do I want it, but there is a natural like desire for children amongst women that this is then a deep concern for them because it's like okay, like I want to get married, but I also want to do it the right quote unquote the right way. Like I want to meet my person, I want to get married, and I want to have a baby. Like I don't want to discount or discredit that for whoever believes that that is the right process to do it.
no,
So
of course
I
not.
fully I fully also see the anxiety around why we even need to have this conversation because it's a concern. Like people are concerned, women are concerned about whether or not this is something that will become a reality for them.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to downplay that.
No,
Um,
if you
yeah.
want, see, my only thing here is asking the question, why do you want one?
Mm,
There is no right or wrong answer. Even if your
mm,
answer is that I just want to be a mom out in society, I just want to be a
mm,
mom. If that's your
mm,
answer, that's also okay. Like all
mm,
answers are welcome, but I'm just saying check and make sure that you're not putting pressure on yourself because of this perceived societal pressure for you to be a mom. Like it
mm,
doesn't make you any less of a person or any less
mm.
important if you choose not to go down that road. And I think
Yeah.
I saw a comment where someone was like, people saying stuff like this is how we are just preparing the world to be full of women that don't have children. And I was just like, but that's not our only purpose in life.
Mm,
Like, the person was basically saying us giving this kind of advice, like if you don't want to have kids, don't have kids. The world is going to get to a place where you're just not going to have
yeah.
women that have kids. And I'm more concerned because if you want to have children, girl, go ahead, have 20,
Yeah.
live your best. I'm more
Mm.
concerned with the people who are like, I don't know if I
Who
want
are
one,
forced
or
into are
I
feeling
don't
forced
have
into a
I
situation.
don't, yeah, I don't want one, or I do want one, but my circumstances have not changed.
Mm.
Because like you're saying, if you want to do it, I meet my person, we get married, and I have a baby, and that hasn't happened for you yet. What must you do now? Like,
Yeah. What
what are
must
you
happen?
supposed to do? Because
Mm.
people go around and say the meanest things to single women and to women that don't have kids, just asking, when are you gonna get married? When the good Lord sends me
Yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want
Correct.
from me?
Yeah, look, yeah, I have had some I've had some very interesting things said to me. Um, and really what it is based around is tying my worth
Mm,
to anything that is not me. Like,
mm,
oh, so what happens if you don't get married? What then? And I'm just like, oh, I will live a great life, you know?
soft. You will live
Um,
soft. It's
um,
true.
but what happens if you don't have children? Like, what will you do? And these are
Mm.
questions I've been asked. Like, what will you do? Like, what? Like, genuine concern for me.
Isn't that rude though?
It is rude, but beyond the rudeness, like, yes, it's rude, but dig deeper. Really, what you're saying is, I will have no purpose. I will have no value. I will have no worth if I
Mm.
am not married or if I don't have a child, which is
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. And I think there's also this misconception that because I'm not even forget married, because I'm not in a relationship, I'm not happy
Mm.
you know and that also for me is just it's such a strange thing because
Yeah.
if I was unhappy in my life, I don't think I would be happy in a relationship.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to
Yeah,
be happy with
that's
me as
true.
Cassie where I am now. My life needs to look good, feel good, and then I can bring goodness into a partnership.
Yeah.
So this idea that because I'm not in a relationship, I'm not happy, is also so strange to me. And it therefore follows that if I don't get into a relationship, it doesn't mean I won't be happy. It doesn't mean I won't
Yeah.
live a full and fantastic life. It will
Mm.
just be probably softer. I will have more money to do delightful
Yes,
things.
and you'll have your own time as well. And
Yeah.
and so look, my whole thing there is I think that you're putting pressure on something that's out of a person's control.
Mm,
Right? Because when
yeah.
you meet someone, how you meet someone, it's not really in your control. When you
Yeah.
get pregnant, how you get pregnant, again, not really in your control. But
Mm,
going around, because I also had like the most well meaning people,
mm,
asking me and Dami when we were going to have kids. And
mm,
I was just
mm.
like, mind your own business. I didn't say that,
It will happen when it
but
happens.
exactly. And it got to a point where even my dad started to get a little bit concerned. And he was trying to get my mom to ask me the question. Like my dad and I are close, so I don't know why he didn't just ask me at first. And he was trying to get my mom, and my mom, God love her, she was just like, I'm not doing this for you. Go do it yourself. She's your daughter
Yeah.
too. And
Yeah.
it was, for me, it was very refreshing to have a Nigerian mother who wasn't pushing
Mm.
me to have a baby.
To have a baby.
She
Mm.
was just like, and I'm like, okay, because when she told me this conversation that my dad and her had, and I was like, okay, but why aren't you worried? My mom is like, "Ugh, you'll have a baby in God's own time. In God's time, He will perfect it."
That's the right way to think
She
about
wasn't
that, in
like
truth.
asking me when she's gonna get grandkids. She didn't
Yeah.
put a lot of, she was just like, told me this thing that she and my dad had a chat about, and then I was like, okay, why aren't you worried? And then she was like, I mean, you'll get there. It's not like you won't. And then I said to her, and I was like, what if I told you that I don't want to have kids? And I said, I'm not saying that I do want them, but I wonder what your reaction would be to have a
If I
female child
said,
out in the world who's just deciding she doesn't
yeah.
want. And my mom was like, well, she's not going to say it wouldn't be a bit difficult, but at the end of the day, she's like, are you happy? And she's like,
Mm.
and she said something. She's like, maybe it's not for everyone. Like
Mm.
not everybody's going to get married. Not everybody's going to have kids. And she was like, it's a difficult thing as a parent, but then you have to remember that what's most important, that your child is happy and living a fulfilled
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Finish. And I'm like, oh, okay. You're living in the future for a Nigerian mom. But the point of this chat is please stop asking people and stop putting pressure on people. I can
Yeah.
promise you, if there are single women in your life or women who are married and want to have kids in your life and they want kids, or single women who want to be married, I can promise you they're already feeling the pressure that they're putting on
Of course.
themselves. They
Yeah.
don't want you butting into it.
100%. There's
Just leave it
nothing
alone.
you can say to me about my singleness that I haven't said to myself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing new you could say to me, you know? And so it's not helpful. Like it's not
Mm.
helpful for you to be like, "Oh, but why?" For you to interrogate it and be like, "What's going on?" You're only
What do
adding
you
to
mean what's
the
going on? How should I know? Like that's a dumb
yeah,
question to ask
it
someone.
is.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
But
Like
it is.
how?
I have been asked that. I've been given unsolicited advice as well on what I should
What you
do
should do?
differently and
Mhm.
how I should be.
Mm.
Um and yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think
I, I I think I think sorry, last thing I'm going to
no.
say is like a single childless woman is not a problem that needs to be solved. Do you know
Please
what I
say it
mean?
again. Yes,
A
it is not.
single childless woman is not a problem that needs to be solved. It is just another way that someone is choosing to live life,
It's
and that
just
needs to
another
be
part of
okay.
life. And that
Yeah.
needs to be okay. Normalize
Mm.
not asking single people when they're getting married. Normalize not asking
Mm.
married people when they're having babies. It's not your
Mm.
business. There are what,
Mm.
8 billion people on the planet? If a
Mm.
couple 100,000 of those people decide not to have babies, the human race will be just fine.
Well, actually, let's talk
Just
about this.
fine.
Okay. I was reading honestly, I don't know how I stumble across these things, but I really was reading world census data the other day.
Yeah.
How, why, I don't know, but this is where I stumbled across. And the US is actually for the first year reported a population decline,
Okay.
and politicians in the US are freaking out about this. And
Why?
because it just means that there's no people, and if there's no
But we're
people,
already overpopulated.
this was
The
my
the
thought.
earth is kicking and screaming already.
This was exactly my thought. I was like, and then there's countries as well. I think Italy is one, France is another one. There's a couple other European countries as well where they are paying people to have children because the population is in decline. Um, and I'm just like, everybody needs to breathe. I think that if there is a
Everybody
moment,
needs to
just
breathe.
breathe, chill. Like if there is a moment of like course correction where the population needs to balance itself out, because right now there's actually just too many
There's
people.
too many of us. There's
There's
too
too many
many.
people. We're concerned about resources on the planet. We're
Mm,
concerned about global warming. We're concerned about so many different things. If there are slightly less people, some of these problems will resolve themselves. And then we can go back to an equilibrium where we're
exactly.
making
Which is how
more
it
babies
works.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really
Um,
how it works.
but there
Everybody
is a
should breathe.
great there's a great deal of panic. And I'm just like, breathe. All is
Just
fine.
breathe.
Like
It's fine.
it's okay. Like it's
It's
really gonna
fine.
be fine. It's
It's not
definitely
like
something to
everyone's,
monitor the situation,
of
but
course.
there's nothing to be fixed right now. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I'm like, it's not like every woman is gonna wake up and be like, I don't want to have kids. Some people are still gonna have 6, 7 kids, you know? It's
Correct.
not like everyone is collectively refusing to have babies. That's not what's happening. So chill,
Mm.
breathe. People are gonna do it. The population will be fine. Um But yeah, normalize not asking. Just leave everyone alone. Like there, people are under pressure. You don't even know if the person you're asking when they're gonna have babies is just recovering from her second miscarriage. You don't know what's happening behind
Sure.
closed doors.
You
Don't
have
ask
no
her. Can you imagine
idea.
how painful that would be?
Yeah.
You don't know if they've been
Yeah.
struggling and now they're trying to raise money to go do IVF because it's not working out any other way. But you're sticking your nose in
Mm.
it because why? You are the baby monitoring spirit. I don't understand.
Mm. You
Anyway.
know, this is something my mom taught me at a very early on. My
Mm.
mom said to me, "You never ever ask anyone about why they're not married or why they
Mhm.
don't have babies." This is
Mhm.
actually something she told me. It's coming back to me now because I remember I remember there was a time when there was someone in my family. I'm trying to remember the story. It was a while ago. There's someone in my family who it was my aunt, and she was the only one that hadn't had children yet of all
Mm.
of my mom's siblings.
Mm.
And I was young, and I was just like, why does she not have children? I said to my mom. And my mom was just like, never ask her
Mm.
that question.
Mm.
Never ask anyone who
Never
you
ask
think
anyone,
should
yeah.
have children why they don't have children. And
Mm.
at the time I was like, but why? Like, you get married, you have children, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And my mom was just like, it's not always that easy. And she unpacked this idea for me.
Mm.
And I was just
Mm.
like, oh, okay, cool. But my mom taught me that very young. And I'm like, maybe we should be teaching our children this now,
Oh, I'm
like,
definitely, yeah.
you know what I mean? Don't ask. And for me now, it's so taboo. It's less about being intrusive. I've been taught it is a taboo question. Like, don't,
Mm.
it's not your business.
It's
You
not
have
your
no
business,
right
not
to
your
ask.
concern. Yeah.
And that's how my brain is coded. So I just don't
Yeah.
ask people. Um,
Don't ask.
so I
Uh,
didn't
um,
this is reminding me.
I also have seen something, and that's what I want to talk about, and then I'll we'll end the episode. I've seen that. Look, I'm not attacking Black people at all, but from the part of the world where I come from, culturally speaking, you saying you're not going to have your own babies because you're going to adopt is not exactly a welcome idea.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the truth of
Yes.
the matter is that there's a lot of gorgeous kids out there who just need a loving home.
Who just need
Why can't your
homes.
home be that home for them? You know,
Correct.
because we keep saying we're not all going to have babies, we're not all going to get married. But for some people, even if you're struggling with having a child, adoption is an option. Like
Yeah.
it's a good option, not just
Yeah.
for you, but for the kids as well. And the
Yeah.
more because you see a lot of women struggling through wanting by all means necessary to birth a child because again, it's a thing. And there's
Yeah.
a Facebook group, Cassie.
Called
There's a
what? Saying
I don't
what?
even remember what it's called. There's a Facebook group dedicated to thrashing women who don't have vaginal births.
Oh gosh. Do you people what do you guys have too much time?
People have
Do
too
you know
much
how
time
much
on
there
their
is
hands.
to do? There's things to do. What are
People
you
have too
doing
much
that
time
you
on
have
their
time to
hands.
create a WhatsApp group, sorry, a Facebook group to specifically designed to bash other people?
It's that you
Contribute
must
something to
it must be.
society.
So if you don't have a vaginal birth, like you they say it's sacred, and as a woman you're unworthy if you don't have not gone through that process. And so I'm just like, please don't be out here dying to
Ridiculous.
prove or to be a part. Look, I haven't had kids yet, but I think I'm confident in saying there is no society for women that have had kids. There is no honorable society. There's no honorable cult. There is no prize award for having had a child. This is not
Okay.
Margaret Atwood's universe. This is not The Handmaid's Tale. So chill. And if adoption is an option for you, I think explore it. Do what
You know,
if it's
You know what I'm thinking and feeling right now? I'm really thinking about America Ferrera in Barbie and her Barbie speech. It's this idea
such a
that
great one.
there is nothing as women that we can do right.
Of course not.
Like there's nothing we can do right.
The game
It's
is
like, okay,
rigged.
I must have a baby. If I don't have a baby, I'm there's something wrong with me. But then if I have a baby and I choose to have an epidural or a C-section or IVF or surrogacy, now I've done it wrong.
I've done
Now
it wrong. Yeah.
I'm not a good one. Just forever and always there is someone who telling women you're doing it wrong.
Mm,
You're doing it
mm,
wrong. At every point in your life, someone is saying to
mm.
you, you're doing it wrong. It's too much. And
Yeah,
the thing that pisses me off the most is that this is a group of women
of
bashing other
course.
women,
Of course.
right? That
Of
pisses me off
course.
more. You having the same lived experience that I have as a woman in the world and the way the world is treating women today, for you to go out of your way to create a space to bash other women is just truly mind blowing to me. Truly
But
mind blowing.
it's like Gabrielle Union
Do
said,
better,
they
be
they
better.
they're doing it to make themselves feel better about their life choices. It is what it is. Someone has forced something on you and you've had
This
to
just
go
really
through
annoyed
that
me.
pain, and so now you're forcing it on someone else. Look, the point of this episode is not to tell you what to do or what not to do. It's so that as you are basking in the euphoria of being in your 30s and having a 9 p.m. bedtime, just also think about the things that matter to you and the things that you want to hold on to in life. Do I want a partner? Do I want to get married? Why do I want these things? Do I want a baby? Why do I want one? When do I want one? How do I want one? Go on
Sure.
that journey personally for yourself. discover what that means. Like, I'm now in my 30s. Our Friday nights karaoke nights for us to go sing Disney songs, or our
So fun.
Friday
I
nights for
highly
me to be
recommend.
or our Friday
Highly
nights gonna
recommend.
be me deep within my couch watching SVU. Like, I think your 30s are a time where you can 1000% put down everything you've carried with you from your
Yeah.
teenage years to your 20s and fully define who you are and who you want
Mm,
to be and what life needs to look like for you. All this external
mm,
pressure to be or sound or do a certain thing, put it down. Put it
mm,
down. Time isn't running
mm.
out for you to succeed. Time isn't running out for you to start a family. I don't care if you're 35 or not. There's a million and
Mm.
one ways for you to have that.
Yeah.
Privileged ways, non-privileged. There's ways for it to happen. Figure out what works for you, but don't put pressure on yourself, right?
Yeah.
And as you go through your healing journey and you're putting things down, do not lie to your therapist.
Oh yeah, we
Otherwise,
didn't talk
stop
about
paying
that.
that woman.
Seriously, don't lie to your therapist. It's such a waste.
It's a
It's really silly.
waste.
It's such a waste of time and money.
And money
Um,
and time and energy and emotions.
just tell your therapist the truth. Your therapist will help you.
Or
The
don't
whole
go to
point
therapy.
the whole point of your therapist is that it is a safe space. There's
They can't
nothing you
judge
could
you.
say to your therapist that is going to make them be like, you're a,
Mm,
like,
depends on the therapist. If your therapist's face is not doing the right things when you're saying something, find a new therapist.
fair, 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 fair. If you don't feel like your therapist is a safe space, you
Yeah.
need to be having a
Fi-
different conversation, actually.
Exactly.
It needs to be find a new therapist.
Don't lie to
But
your
yeah,
therapist, but
don't lie
if
to
you
your
feel
therapist.
the need to lie to your therapist, get a new therapist.
Hmm. Why are you lying?
Because
Or
that
do
one's
some
not the one for you.
introspection. Yeah. Or
That
do
one's
some
not work. It's
introspection.
not working for you. Don't throw money away. But
Yeah.
anyway, I'm look. As always, I'm not here to judge, and I'm not never here to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But if you ever needed the permission, Gabrielle Union's giving it to you. Time isn't running out.
Thank
Calm
you,
down. Enjoy
Gabby.
your
You.
life. Enjoy your life. And if you don't like what she's saying because you think she's wealthy and she's too privileged, I'm not wealthy. Me, I'm looking for a milli in the bank. But I still
Even
think
me.
you should be able to make your own choices, whatever that looks like for you. And the wonderful thing is your 30s is a great time to start doing that. It's a
Mm.
great time to start really living the life that you want.
Amen,
Yeah.
sister. I'm here for it all. I'm
that's all
here
I
for it
that's all I
all.
got for you today. I'm about to go bury myself in my couch with a tub of ice cream and watch Lincoln Lawyers Out. That's what I'm gonna watch.
I haven't actually watched that.
You
I am
should.
just counting down the days until The Diplomat season 2. I cannot
Guys, it's
freaking wait.
almost here.
Cannot wait. I cannot wait.
It's almost
So
here.
excited.
Just a couple more, I think a week or two, maybe.
Like
I
a
don't even
week.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Amazing. Well, thanks for joining us. Come chat with us on Instagram. Come agree with me, disagree with me, share your own stories, share some advice. And I know that we're
Yeah.
talking about being in our 30s, but that's what we can relate to because I know it applies to being in your 20s, being in your 40s, being in your 50s.
Mm.
Whatever life stage you're in, live your best life.
Live your best, babes.
Come say hi on Instagram, on TikTok, and don't forget to like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify and on YouTube as well. And we'll see you soon. Okay, love you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe anywhere and everywhere you find your podcasts. You can also watch and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, love you. Bye.